Welcome everyone to another episode of Your Little Castle. We're looking forward to another exciting interview with our guest who will be sitting in that chair here in just a minute. Enjoy. It's time to have a little fun on yourlittlecastle.com, the TV show. Giddy up. Well, welcome everyone. We're doing a special show here that is all about the fun stuff and the fun world of realty. So I've got one of the top experts in the world, I say in the world, relative to like St. Louis is one of the top 20 markets in the United States, which is the number one country in the world with regard to viewership and all that stuff. And she's one of the leaders in this part of the world. And so that makes her one of the best in the world. And that's true. So I wanted to find out, how does she get into this? How does she become so good at what she does? And where she's going with it. She's got some other excitement too. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sandy Grassmuck, Grassmuck Realty. You've got a bunch of other titles we're going to talk about too. Tell us, and I'm going to put up real quickly on the screen here. I want to talk about a good-looking website. There you go. Good work. How many times I have, and usually realtors have good websites, but sometimes you bring in somebody, the small business owner who's been around for a little while or maybe not too long, and the website looks like their nephew did it.
Right.
But not the case here at all. Great job.
Thank you.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Why did you decide to become a realtor?
Helping people obtain the American dream of homeownership, helping agents succeed in the business. I really get a lot of joy and satisfaction of that. Other things, there's always something new. You're constantly learning. The market is changing each and every day. Every year it's something different. We have to learn. We have to know. Always something new.
Well, I mean, that's important because spice is the, what was it? Variety is the spice of life, right? And so if you're, did I get that right? Thank you, right? I can sometimes mess up the analogies too. But variety is the spice of life. So dealing with all kinds of different, you're consistently going to be the realtor, but you deal with so many people from all different sides of the world, and you get to experience that personally with a lot of the people that you deal with. Is that part of where that comes from?
And you're not just a realtor. You're also a marriage counselor.
Been there a little bit myself, right?
You got to deal with all kinds of people, all kinds of situations. You have to, some people are selling their parents' home after they've passed, and there's always something new going on. Well,
very good. And I tell you, that's key to just the happiness and just the excitement that we benefit from this little planet. At least, all I can speak to is this little planet, and that's kind of the way it works, right? So what was the path that led you to where you are now and that led you to your success? What would you say?
So I started out as a property manager and a senior accountant for a very sought-after real estate investor in the St. Charles County area. And he was doing a ton of business, and I saw all the realtors around him making a lot of money because he was feeding him the deals. And I just decided that instead of being a senior accountant working behind a desk 60 hours a week, I should be out in the field making the bigger money.
Well, yeah, that money pays the bills, right?
That's right.
If you find something, that's ultimately, that's kind of how we all mature as we come out of high school and then college, and then all of a sudden we're going, hey, I really like this. I'll never forget along those lines. I wanted to be a graphic designer. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, number one, I wasn't that good at it. It's hard for some people to admit, but I could admit I was not that good. How many years have you been doing this now?
About 23 years.
23 years.
Yep.
Started when you were 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And we never ask somebody their age, but that's impressive. I mean, 23 years. You obviously started when you were very young, and now you're into it, and you've got your own agency. Talk a little bit about the titles that you hold. I mean, with regard to, I saw that you were the Women's Council chairperson or the president, right?
President for the state of Missouri.
For the state of Missouri.
And that was this year. And then I'm the immediate past president for St. Charles County Association of Realtors. And so I was the president in 2020. And I'm getting ready to run for alderman in Lake St. Louis.
You see what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? Why do you think I wanted Sandy to come on the show? Yeah. She has all the expertise that anybody ever dreams of with regard to being a realtor, much less a guru in the industry. So, all right, so the next big thing is alderman?
Yes, alderman, Ward 1, Lake St. Louis.
Ward 1, St. Louis.
Lake St. Louis.
Lake St. Louis. Make sure everybody understands it. If you're not from St. and then people do see this show around the country. I know that because I was in Orlando last weekend, and I'm walking out of the stadium for the event we went to for Cure Cancer. It was a bowl game, football game, and somebody goes, Cardinal Cowboy. I thought he read my shirt because I had my football Cardinal Cowboy jersey on, and then he goes, I follow you on Facebook.
That's so cool.
And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And likewise, some other fun stuff. But so in St. Louis, everybody knows St. Louis for a lot of very good reasons. Cardinals, number one. We'll talk about Cardinals a little bit too. But Lake St. Louis is technically, I guess, would you count that as a suburb? Is that a suburb?
Yes, and it's in St. Charles County. I can tell you how many realtors are in St. Charles County.
Well, tell me that.
2,000.
2,000 realtors, everybody. So if you want to find a realtor, you only have to sort through
2,000.
2,000 of them. Or just go right to Sandy. She's sitting right here on the studio set with me. All right, Sandy. So we have a list of stuff we'd like to cover, and I've got the questions here you've answered. People were cheating. We have a tablet in front of us. But tell us, what was one major objection that you've had to overcome? And I know for somebody that's been around as long as you have, 23 years in the industry, you've seen a lot of stuff. Well, you haven't been doing it long enough, or you're too big, or you're too small. What is it ultimately why do people decide to use Grassmuck Realty?
Well, right now, people think they can sell their home on their own, or their home sells itself because it's such a great market and everybody's getting multiple offers. But so that's a huge objection because people think they can sell their home themselves. But here's what I have to tell you. By using a professional realtor, we're going to get you way more money for your home. We're going to stage it appropriately, make sure it looks good, and then we are going to go through the multiple offers with you and tell you why one's better than the other and what to look for. And then once your house goes under contract, you still got to get it to the closing table. A lot of people don't understand that. So you have to go through the inspection process and negotiating the inspections. And then you could have lender issues. There could be something to do with the appraisal, especially in today's market. A lot of homes aren't appraising. So they always look to the realtor to help on that. And then you may have a survey issue. So you got to get them to the closing table. It's not just about selling the home.
Situation, I just say somebody close to me, parent passed away, now they've inherited a house. They don't need the house. They could live in the house, but they don't want to live in the house. They need to sell the house. They can sell the house themselves. The best argument I've heard, tell me if you agree with this, I think, and that's what you're saying, I think, is you go ahead, and you're going to sell it for whatever you got, and you're only going to have to pay, whatever fees you've got with regard to closing the house and all that, a couple grand altogether, whatever. But you sold it for $20,000 less than you could have.
Right.
Did you really save any money?
Right.
I mean, is that what it boils down to?
Right, and then maybe you didn't disclose something you should have, and you didn't know it. And then a year or two down the line, you end up getting sued.
That's another big one. Red flag right there, ladies and gentlemen. You have something you didn't tell them. You have what would an example be? A gas leak or something? Or
I have a good one. So a friend of mine built a house out in Jefferson County and never lived in it, and he built it. Marital situation. So he ended up selling it to somebody he knew, and there was a crack in the foundation, and he got sued. The problem is he won the lawsuit, but $40,000 after attorney's fees. He said he'll never not use a realtor again, ever.
Wow. So saved himself a few bucks, didn't have to pay the realtor fees.
Right.
So why is it ultimately that you would want to hire a realtor? Because you get what you pay for. Is that what you're saying, Sandy?
Well, you get what you pay for, but they keep you out of trouble. They keep you out of trouble, and they make sure that everything goes smoothly. Even if you're going to buy new construction, you should always be represented by a realtor. And if you walk into a new construction site and they tell you, oh, you don't need a realtor or you can't use a realtor, that's a huge red flag. Because the people that are in the, no offense to any builders out there, but the people that are sitting in the new home constructions are there representing the builder. They're there for the builder's benefit. And the builder's contracts are written by the attorneys for the builder's benefit. So you really need to know that contract, understand it, and that's why you need a realtor on your side to help you understand that. Because so many things can go wrong in a real estate deal, and they go wrong in new construction too. Believe me, I've seen a lot.
Well, and I'm with you on that too, from the perspective that how often do you see somebody sell a house themselves? Rarely. I don't know anybody. So I sold my house, and the question is, what realtor did you use, right?
Right.
Because it's a matter of fact that that's just the way you have to do things if you're going to do it right.
Right.
I appreciate the fact you brought that up, that some people do try to sell it themselves,
Right.
FSBO or whatever they call it,
Yeah.
for sale by owner, but it's not a good policy unless,
Right.
and I guess a lot of mortgage people won't even be like, hey, I don't know if I should get into this. That's a whole another discussion. What is it about that you do that fuels your passion? What is it makes you most passionate about what you do? I guess we've talked about that a little bit, but go into that a little
It's
bit
the
more.
people. It's the people, helping people. It's looking at their face when they're excited and they're moving into a new house, and you get to be a part of that journey, and helping realtors be successful. It really is. When I've had some realtors that have came to my company, had been at other companies, and maybe they had never done a deal, or they had a couple deals that fell apart. One in particular who I just love. And this particular agent did $2 million with me the first year in the business, or after she came over. So I really enjoy taking the new realtor and showing them how to grow their business and how to be successful, as well as, families buying homes, selling homes, getting more than they ever expected to get because they did use a realtor, and then making it easy for them where they don't even have to think about it.
Great stuff, yeah, and that's just core to what most people you think understand about whatever they're getting into.
Right.
But there's always somebody who's too smart for their own good, right?
Right.
Is that what that boils down to?
Right. Well, and the other thing is being, it's really rough being a realtor because you do have to be on call 24/7, and you are taking calls late at night. But that's what's so great about it, is because you have somebody that is at night and they just thought of a question and they're going to lose sleep over it, or they're not going to eat because they're concerned. And if they just pick up the phone and call you or send you a quick text, you can give them an answer in 2 seconds, and they're just so appreciative of the fact that you are available.
That is something that leads to the next question I have for you, which is, what is the one thing that sets Grassmuck Realty apart from the rest? What would you say is something you really are good at?
Well, and I think it is the
big
personal service. It's going the extra mile. It is educating your client. We really go through the process of educating them every step of the way and letting them make the decision by giving them all the options. And we do surround ourselves with other professionals that really take care of our clients. We want to make sure they're professional and that they handle their business the way we do. And that's just making sure that the client's number one.
Very good. Well, that's important stuff because so many people get lost in the shuffle these days.
Yeah.
When you got 2,000 realtors in this area
Right.
to choose from,
Right.
how does somebody make a decision?
You're right.
And I'd say, first off, look at the credibility. Look at the credentials that they have. So Sandy here has credentials that outrank most anyone I've seen, and so in that space for sure. So that's just dynamite, and good.
Oh, thank you.
Kudos
Thank
to
you.
you for taking the effort to do all that, because those things are not easy to just slap on. You've got to put a lot of work into getting
Right.
those titles
Right.
and running organizations and doing that stuff. So one challenge that you've had to overcome, and I'd say somebody like yourself who's been in business now for 23 years, overcoming hurdles is like a daily occurrence. It's
It
something
is.
You've had to, so what's the key to it?
It is a daily occurrence. Just being educated. And that's one thing I pride myself in. And I would tell you that if you are going to hire a realtor, you better make sure that they're full-time in the business and they know what they're doing, because it could cost you a lot of money. So I stay current with going to all the state meetings, all the national meetings, and really your agent should be doing that too. Being full-time in the business and being in the industry every day, because it's always changing. So yes, there are lots of hurdles. One of the things that we do in my company is we have a weekly meeting, which I know a lot of the companies do too, but at our weekly meeting we share. So all my agents go around and what happened to you last week that everybody else in the company would benefit from knowing, because there are so many hurdles. There's always a new inspection issue or a new municipality that has decided to do a new inspection, or there's always something new in our industry.
So Sandy, tell me, what is it you feel your realty group, your organization does to contribute most to the community?
Well, I think myself and some of our realtors are involved in a couple local charities, one being the Child Center, the Crisis Nursery, and we've done a couple of builds for Habitat of Humanity. But the one that we're really big involved in is Responder Rescue. Actually, one of my agents who's now in referral is one of the founding members of Responder Rescue.
Wow, I know those guys. They do some great work around the
They
community.
do.
And
They're amazing.
Pat, I think.
Yeah, Pat and Lisa Byrne.
And they do a great job. I've been just connected with them a few different ways, and really cool stuff they do. All right, so here we're the fun part now. What do you do for personally in St. Louis for fun? You say, Sandy's weekend off, which I know is rare as a realtor, right? So Sandy, I know as a realtor, there's not a whole lot of free time, but you do get to have some fun. What do you do for fun as a realtor right here in St. Charles, St. Louis, Missouri?
Okay, so we do live on Lake St. Louis. We live at Lake St. Louis. We do have a boat, so we get to do a lot of fun stuff in the summer. We also have an in-ground pool, but as far as St. Louis City itself, my son lives in the Del Mar Loop, so we do spend some time down there. And he is married, and we have our first grandbaby coming in March. So grandbaby boy, and so we will probably be spending more time down at the Del Mar Loop just to see the baby.
Right. All right, let's talk about real quickly my favorite topic and something we must all talk about. And we just landed. We're outside of Busch Stadium now. We're at the building across from Busch Stadium. You can see the windows.
Yeah, we can see it.
And now we're outside of Busch Stadium. But are you a Cardinal fan?
Sure.
A little bit, a lot?
Yeah.
How much?
A little.
But what do you love most about the Cardinals and why?
Fred Bird.
Fred Bird.
Yeah, Fred Bird.
Fred Bird, I can't say on live camera.
No, you can't.
Fred Bird is an awesome guy. And I know Fred Bird well from the Cardinal games. And it's cool to see what Fred Bird does in the community. Have you had him come to some of your events, or have you been at events where he was at?
I've been at events he's been at, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the
It
Cardinals
does.
tie into everything, but realty ties into absolutely everything, right?
Right. Well, everybody's going to buy or sell a house eventually.
Yeah, you got to live somewhere, right?
Right.
And some people do live in an apartment their entire life, but I think that's a very small percentage of the population.
Right.
But the other 99.7% have bought a house or lived in a house or whatever.
Right.
And you're looking at one of the top experts in the world when you really want to, percentage-wise, like the top 1%.
Well,
Fair.
top three.
Top 3%. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to throw out ratios here because I'm a numbers guy. But I mean, I don't know anybody else who's done the stuff you've done, but you've really done some amazing stuff. And I want people to understand that, and that tied it back into the Cardinals as we're out in front of Busch Stadium still.
Right.
The reason I became such a good baseball player was because I practiced.
Right.
I worked at it daily, ground balls, batting cage, all that stuff. Is that the same premise that goes into what it becomes to be the best realtor?
Yep. You got to be in it every day.
So there's your tie into the sports thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's why we always emphasize my favorite team and sports in general. And Sandy, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you.
To talk about all this stuff. And we'll make sure we'll take a look here at our notes. We covered everything. We got through all 97 questions in less than about 35 minutes here. Sandy, any parting words you'd like to say to somebody about where you're going, what's going on, or what? Give a shout out for a positive thing that you think is important.
Just remember to vote if you're in Ward 1, Lake St. Louis. I will be running in April 5th, and I need your vote.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sandy Grassmuck Realty, right here on the Cardinal Cowboy Show. Your Little Castle is this show we're working on right now. And how many people, that's effectively what we have here in America, where you can live in an incredible little place that's all your own and have all the amenities that 100 years ago only the super, super rich had.
Right.
And in America, we all get to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoy Your Little Castle, and we'll talk to you some more as we continue. Thanks for tuning in for another rendition of the Cardinal Cowboy Show and all of our experts that we bring in. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks.
All right. Talk to you soon. Giddy up.